It's been a while since we've talked about this, but here we are, Piggy Branched Realities, Chapter 5.
The Bienvenu Mall, owned by the Bienvenu Corporation, was closed without a public explanation. It's no surprise that Bienvenu has one of the highest technology standards in Lucella.
The Bienvenu Mall, or how they call it, the Haunted Mall, will be the newest chapter. However, we've got just a few days until this chapter is coming out, and I have taken a deep look inside all the leaks, tapes and videos of this chapter, because I want to explain and theorize the lore of the Bienvenu Mall.
Hello? Please help me.
This chapter will have three main characters, Georgie, Robbie and Michelle, along with some other side characters that will be less important during this video, but you might be wondering, how is the detective a side character? Isn't he going to be the main character, the one that we will play as? Well, to answer that, we have to go back and learn the history of the Bienvenu Mall, and it all started in 1982.
The Bienvenu Mall was closed without a public explanation on November 9th, 1982, being one of the first companies to introduce Robux to the Bienvenu Mall.
The Bienvenu Mall was shut down without a public explanation. However, we can later on see in one of the clips titled Welcome Home Francesco that there is a missing poster of a mouse called Michelle that disappeared in the Bienvenu Mall on the same date as the shutdown, November 9th, 1982. We still don't know what caused her disappearance, but because of it, the entire mall had to shut down, and this brings us to our detective, Francesco Notoroli.
Francesco Notoroli decided to continue his investigations about Michelle Mouse by visiting the closed Bienvenu Mall.
2 years after the shutdown of the mall, this detective, Francesco, is hired to start investigations inside the Bienvenu Mall and to search for Michelle Mouse. But before he goes in, he makes sure to research about the place and found some leaked documents that showed how the Bienvenu Mall was one of the first malls ever to introduce Robux.
It's no surprise that Bienvenu has one of the highest technology standards in Lucella, being one of the first companies to introduce Robux to the Bienvenu Mall.
What's going on? Laura, who are you? Who are you? No! Stay back! Stay away from me! Oh no!
And on the 8th of September 1984, Francesco gets a camera and decides to go in.
Oh my god. What's going on? Please help me.
But that ended up becoming his worst idea, because on the recording that he took, we can see some sort of ghost of Michelle wandering around this mall, but also one of the robots, Robbie. And Robbie actually kills him while the camera is still recording, so Georgie actually finds it sometimes later and sees what has happened inside this mall. So for all of you that were theorizing that we'll be playing as Francesco in this chapter, you were wrong, because Francesco is dead. And with the Wizard Watch X account posting, quote, "Join Georgie as he tries to defeat Robbie and survive the haunted mall," end of quote, I think it's pretty obvious now that we will be playing as Georgie Pig, and our main enemy won't be Michelle, but rather Robbie. Actually, I have a small suspicion that Michelle might not even be an enemy, but rather just some sort of ghost trying to scare us and to lead us on the wrong paths. And while we talk about enemies, I think I should also share this image posted by the developers saying, "Meet the mannequins." So this chapter will have more than one bot, but there are still many questions still to be answered. What happened to Michelle? What will Georgie do? And is the detective dead? Well, let's answer some of these. First, let's focus on Michelle. So far, we knew that she disappeared inside the mall, never to be seen again. But when the detective Francesco visited the Benvenue Mall, he saw her, he even recorded her. You might say that this right here is just a hallucination, but this cannot be true, because this POV isn't from Francesco's own eyes, but rather from a camera that's recording, so this can't be a hallucination. But then, what is it? Well, there's nothing to hint at how could Michelle just appear and disappear in front of us. However, what is most likely happening here is probably some sort of advanced hologram. Maybe Robbie or something else is playing with us and making these holograms to scare us, because I really don't think that Michelle has just turned into a walking ghost. But again, it could also be a choice, because it wouldn't be the first time this game had ghosts. But one thing is for sure, Michelle is definitely no longer alive. 2 years have passed, and seeing her still inside the same mall that got shut down while killer robots are still operating inside? No way! This is either just a ghost of Michelle or just a hologram. But now let's try to focus and see what we can theorize about the two survivors, Francesco and Georgie. Well, we've already talked about Francesco, the detective that got hired into solving this case and then ending up in the Benvenue Mall. And as we saw from this POV, while he was trying to find a way out of the mall, Robbie found him and then he most probably killed him, because of the screen turning red, the chainsaw activating and all the screaming happening in the background. So it's pretty likely that we won't see Francesco at all in this chapter, but I do still think that he will be useful in a way, and here is how. We've already seen Georgie with Francesco's camera, watching what happened to him, and because I predict that we'll be playing as Georgie, I think that throughout Francesco's journey in this mall, he might have just dropped a few stuff somewhere around this place. Exactly how Georgie found this recording camera on the floor, I think he might also find some other stuff, maybe Francesco's maps or even tools that he would have used to investigate the mall. I theorize that Georgie might need to find and use Francesco's items in order to either escape or do something else inside the Benvenue Mall. And that is everything you need to know about Piggy Branched Realities Chapter 5. So let me know in the comments below if you're hyped for this chapter and what do you think will happen. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.